Everybody, go tap and release Derrick Laday on Hood. He's an innocent Oklahoma man sentenced by the death issue in the prison. Everybody, go follow Cub page and see that, hey, Cuz an innocent black man. Free Cub. So he could drink some cold motherfucking old English with big booty beautiful stitches on Hood.
In 2015, 8 members affiliated with the Rolling 90 neighborhood Crips were charged with desecrating a corpse, a crime so horrific that one caller was left in denial, unable to comprehend the burning scene beneath the bridge.
8901 was your emergency. I'm on Sandy Creek Bridge. And there's something underneath it on fire. I can't tell if it's a vehicle that got under the bridge or what it is, but it's on fire.
The burning object beneath the bridge was the body of a man named Dennis Johnson Jr. Dennis Johnson Jr. was known as Old Man and was rumored to be a member of the Kerr Village Crips. Old Man grew up in Kerr Village before it became Oak Grove. While the Kerr Village Crips and Oak Grove Posse Crips are sometimes seen as the same, not everyone claims both, even though many members are close and get along. According to police arrest records, Old Man was far from an angel, having been involved in drug trafficking and strangulation throughout his life. This raises the question of what exactly happened that night to cause the 90 Crips to murder Old Man. It came to the light that Old Man had been spending time with the 90 Crips prior to the incident, which wasn't unusual given the alliance between the Kerr Village Crips and the 90 Crips. However, what stood out was the betrayal that followed. Rumors spread that Old Man had stolen guns and drugs from Derrick Laday, and word on the streets of Oklahoma City suggested that he had even robbed the 90 Crips. This was a betrayal they refused to overlook, a violation that demanded blood. Witnesses claimed that Derrick and crews began searching for Old Man, and when they finally caught up with him, they forced him into a vehicle and took him to a house in Oklahoma City. There, they dealt with him brutally, beating him to death. Another witness stated that Derrick Laday took it further, stabbing Old Man before setting him on fire, according to a court affidavit filed by the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation. But as all 8 members began facing trial for the murder of Old Man, the pressure started to break some of them. However, Derrick stood firm, insisting he was innocent and claiming the courts were targeting him. On June 25th, DNA from Old Man was submitted for analysis after being collected from 6 blood-like stains found in Derrick's 2001 Chevy Suburban. The samples were discovered beneath the steering wheel, on the rear driver's side window, and on the back of the driver's seat. This had law enforcement feeling like they had the man responsible for the murder of Old Man, but in July, a crime scene agent gathered various materials for latent print analysis, but no fingerprints were recovered. Derrick saw this as potential proof of his innocence, but testimony from his former 90 Crips associates remained strong. Eric Juarez, known as Little Eric, allegedly the son of Bone Deuce, a former Rolling 90 Crip and rapper from OKC, initially told investigators that Derrick was responsible for the murder. Little Eric's statement was rumored to be the reason Bone Deuce was kicked out of the 90 Crips and labeled a snitch alongside him. However, he later claimed he had been coerced by the district attorney and an investigator. During his interrogation, Eric stated that they threatened him with a life sentence unless he testified that Derrick was responsible for the murder, but to my knowledge, no recording of the interrogation was ever played in court. Eric Juarez was the key witness in the trial, but his credibility had now come into question. However, the district attorney, investigator, and Eric's own lawyer were supposedly witnesses to his confession. One of the women involved in the case would also testify against Derrick during his trial.
Monday afternoon, a woman who has gone back and forth on her story, saying she finally agreed to come clean at the last minute. She agreed to a plea deal in order to testify to what she says is the truth, that Derrick stabbed Johnson to death, set the body on fire, and has since threatened others not to testify against him.
Another 90 Crip member, Franklin, told investigators that on June 12, 2015, Derrick called him and said he had killed a guy and needed some place to get rid of the body. It is unclear whether cell phone data records were obtained and used in court to convict Derrick of the murder. Additionally, earlier in the case, an unidentified member of the North Highlands Piru Bloods, who was not connected to the case, allegedly tipped off law enforcement about Derrick's car. This tip from the North Highlands Piru member may have led to the discovery of Old Man's DNA evidence. Was Derrick innocent or guilty of the murder? Derrick's brother, Aaron, came forward and claimed responsibility for Old Man's death. Teresa McDonald also confessed to her role in the murder, adding that Derrick was not with them. However, some believe that when Teresa was facing new charges, she had enough motive to shift the blame onto Derrick during his trial. Law enforcement, however, believes that while Aaron was present during the murder, he was not the one who orchestrated it. An alleged informant named Josiah took the stand, but was reportedly impeached due to inconsistencies in his testimony. OSBI agent Lieutenant Josh Dean testified that during his interview with Josiah, he believed Josiah had heard the information directly from Derrick. Throughout the trial, the prosecution played small clips of these interviews as evidence.
How are you, sir? Good. a message from ADA Meredith Easter to go talk to you about the Laday brothers. So, here, I got your letter that she wrote to her. So see if you wanted to sit down and talk with me about all that, what you knew.
We talking in front of them?
Do we have to?
Yeah.
No, we don't. That's up to them whether or not they have to.
I step out.
Talk in front of them?
Yeah, they like spread rumors, so they inmates.
Do they? Okay.
They did with the shit. But when I was in the county with Derrick Laday, we just talking about his case. And he told me they was trying to get him the death penalty stuff. And he's telling me what all he went wrong at. I guess he killed a smoker and slit his throat or something. And they burnt him, tried to set him on fire and stuff. And he said that he would have got away if Eric, not even a little son, didn't ever snitch. And he was talking about some blood was in the car and all that type of stuff. He had left some blood in the car, and that's why they trying to give him the death penalty.
Okay, so and this was Derrick County that he killed the. Did he tell you what his name was?
Nah, he didn't tell me his name.
Okay.
He just said he killed a smoker.
Killed a smoker. And burned him.
Slit his throat. Could have been over his ass, right? That's what he was telling me. Burnt him and all that.
Okay. Is there anything else you know of?
I'll try to get a hold of Jalinda for you, see what they did with the car. But stay in contact with you.
Okay.
He said he'd go to trial this morning. That's what his brother said.
Yeah, it's the end of this month. 31st or something like that, I think. Whatever the last week of this month is.
Okay.
He's when it's set to go to trial. So.
Yeah, you want me to call Jalinda for you? I ain't going to do it today because they said they're not doing the phone list today. I'll call Jalinda for you because she don't want to tell the story. I just tell her to give me the story and then I'll contact you again. So.
Okay. You want a card? You want a piece of paper? What do you want?
I'll take your card.
Card? That's all I got for you, unless you got something else you want to talk about?
I don't think about that yet.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we talk to Jalinda, then holler back at me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm up there 30, 40 out there. Okay.
Yeah, want to use me in court though?
If they can get it in, they probably will. I don't know. I'll holler at her and let them know what we talked about, and then we'll go from there with they decide. So,
about 5 hours next time I'll contact you.
yeah, I'll holler at her as soon as I leave, and then whenever you call me, then I'll have a better idea what's going to happen. That's good with you?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. I'll look ready for you.
Derrick had requested to hear the full interview, believing it had been taken out of context or that the informant had been coerced into making statements that could jeopardize his freedom. According to Derrick, the judge denied his request to play the full recording. Derrick also began to suspect that his lawyer, Michael Arnett, had a drug problem and lacked a thorough understanding of the case. Despite these concerns, Arnett emphasized the severe abuse Derrick endured throughout his childhood. He detailed how Derrick suffered vicious beatings from his mother and stepfather, spent time in foster care, and often went hungry because his parents refused to feed him. Arnett argued that this traumatic upbringing left Derrick without a real chance in life, ultimately pushing him to seek family within a gang. Derrick dismissed his lawyer and requested a new one. He stated that when he attempted to request another attorney, the judge only gave him two options: continue with the same lawyer or represent himself. As a result, he represented himself for most of his 2021 trial. Derrick has pointed out that the informants and witnesses in his case are unreliable due to their inconsistent stories, as well as the lack of fingerprints and DNA evidence linking him to the crime. Also, the bloodstained material found in the car was attributed to Aaron, who had previously driven the vehicle. In fact, Aaron had allegedly used the same car, targeting Taz from the West Side Hustler Crips. Though Taz survived a headshot, he never made a statement to the authorities, with rumors suggesting he preferred to handle matters on the streets. But when Aaron realized his brother was wrongfully accused, he stepped forward and took responsibility for the crime.
If you and your brother say he is the one who is responsible for all this, why is the state still going after you?
I mean, they're going to try whatever they can try. They're going to keep trying.
Well, why focus in on you if you and he both agree that he did it?
I don't know. They don't care who they convict. They're going to convict everybody they can. Everybody know that.
Have you threatened witnesses or coerced witnesses who are
Never.
going to testify?
Never.
Derrick Laday denies the wide range of threats he's accused of making against witnesses.
So why is Derrick still behind bars? A deeper look into his past reveals that there's more at play than just neglect and abuse. Derrick Laday, known as 90 Thug, claimed affiliation with the Rolling 90 Neighborhood Crips, a gang with strong alliances. These include the Squeeze Team and N-Hood, both composed of various neighborhood Crip sets. The N-Hood alliance also includes the Nutty Block Compton Crips. The 90 Crips were also connected to F and N, an alliance made up of the Fanshill Gangster Crips and Rolling 90 Crips. Derrick grew up on the west side of Oklahoma City in a neighborhood called The Wicket. He came from a well-known family connected to the 90 Crips, and the west side was where his roots were. When Derrick was around 13 or 14, his grandmother moved him and his brother L.A. to the east side of OKC. They settled in the Metro Project Apartments, a housing complex on 23rd Street, located near NH in Creston Hills Hoover's territory and across the highway from the Shotgun Crips. Derrick earned the name 90 Thug during his teenage years. 90 Thug came from a legacy of 90 Crips. His name carried respect, making him a familiar figure among the youth on the east side of Oklahoma City. Police knew him and his brother as the Laday brothers. During this time, Derrick and his family became widely recognized, particularly among young people in the Metro Project Apartments. To this day, many still remember them from their time in the area. 90 Thug's youth was marked by violence and rivalry. According to Oklahoma arrest records, at just 15 years old, he was arrested in connection with an armed robbery and charged with unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, robbery with a firearm, and concealing stolen property. By the time Derrick turned 18, he faced similar charges related to armed robbery, further solidifying his reputation with law enforcement. He had also gained recognition among rivals of the 90 Crips, with local gang members referring to him as a top hat, a title signifying rank within the Crip gang. Many believe this status made him a target of the Oklahoma justice system, with some alleging that authorities were simply trying to incarcerate as many individuals as possible. From my perspective, the only thing linking Derrick to the crime is the rumored story circulating in Oklahoma City about Old Man allegedly robbing him and the car being connected to him. If Derrick wants to prove his innocence, law enforcement obtaining the transcript of what was allegedly said to Franklin over the phone and tracking cell phone data linking Derrick or others involved could either support or disprove his case. Also, I don't believe there was any evidence supporting that he had threatened gang members or witnesses to change their statement. His story has gained widespread attention, amassing a following online, with social media influencers and rappers rallying to his defense. A fan page advocating for his freedom has been actively fundraising by selling merchandise to support his legal battle. Derrick is currently awaiting appeal while sitting on death row. If you believe Derrick Laday is innocent, consider following the account to stay updated on his case. Memberships are now available. If you don't want to wait to watch new content, this might be the perfect plan for you. Thank you for watching another episode of Hood 187. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing.